Hello everyone and welcome to my channel Nikitina Knits. My name is Evgenia and in this video I will share with you my personal wish list for spring knitting. These patterns don't depend much on trends or popularity. I like very floral, elegant and feminine designs that are also casual and wearable at the same time. The designers are going to be from different countries, not from specific ones that I usually do. This is my first actually pattern roundup where I don't speak just about one specific country, but a mix of them. I will speak about what is the recommended yarn in the pattern and if I would go for that option. With that being said, let's start with my first very much loved sweater. It's Bloomfield Sweater by Magdalena Parker, or otherwise known as Knitonomy, both in Instagram and in Ravelry. So this sweater stole my heart when it just came out. When she was in testing and developing this sweater, I still haven't cast it on, but there's going to be a day when I do that. The reason to that is, as you can see, it's tons and tons of cables. So the amount of time needed to complete this sweater is huge, even though it's knit on 4mm needles. But look at this sweater. I cannot stop looking at it. It is so elegant, feminine, lightweight, but also warm because it's cables and it's made of wool, obviously. It feels very cozy and classy, so you can wear it at work. It looks quite official and work appropriate, but also you can wear it for a date, you know, or for the walk in the park. So while you spend a lot of time knitting this sweater, and for those who knit slow like me, it can take tons of time, maybe like a few months, I find that it's a very practical piece, maybe not for wearing under the jacket or coat all the time, but again, we're speaking about spring pieces, and that means we're going to be wearing it late evenings in May or April, or even in summer. I find when it's a little bit chilly and cool outside, you can easily just throw this sweater on and have a walk. And because the sweater recommends 20 centimeters of positive ease, you will have a lot of air flowing through you. So even if it's a little bit too warm or too hot, that can happen in springtime, you will have a lot of flow of air going through your body that feels really nice. It is a 27 stitch gauge pattern. That means you have 27 stitches per 10 centimeters, I imagine, in cable pattern. And the recommended yarn is La Manna Milano held double. So La Manna Milano is 90% merino wool and 10% cashmere, and it has 180 meters per 25 grams, so the balls are sold in 25-gram weight. I would go with this yarn recommendation for two reasons. The first one is weight. La Manna yarn is a German brand that specifies on super light technology, so they have their own way of spinning the yarn and producing the yarn that ends up really lightweight. I don't know how they're doing it, but they're doing quite an amazing job, and a lot of the yarns are machine washable, which is quite nice because they're not superwash. They feel super luxurious and soft, and they're machine washable. I actually don't know exactly about La Manna Milano if it's machine washable, but other yarns, a lot of them are machine washable. And another thing is, again, is quite a big sweater, and I don't want to end up with any surprises. So I want to know exactly how the sweater is going to look, because the structure of the cables, you know, construction, the shoulders dropped, and a lot of details can end up being wrong if I risk with some different yarns. I would probably go with the off-white natural color that the sample is knitted with. So now let's speak about the construction. The sweater is recommending 20 centimeters of positive ease. It has a straight body, straight sleeves without any decreases. The designer is wearing them folded over on the photo samples. I quite like that. It's really beautiful. So when you feel like flowy and warm and cozy, you can open them up and have them long. And when you need to work or, you know, do something and you don't want the sleeves to hang around, you can just fold them up, which I find quite beautiful. And another beautiful detail that I quite like is this very short, beautiful collar. It's a double folded collar, as I could see. To be honest, the design doesn't have a lot of explanation. It doesn't even say how it's knit. So I had to go through Ravelry works in progress and see how it's actually knit, which I find a bit weird. I would love to know how the sweater is knit when I'm purchasing the pattern. So as I could see that the sweater is knit top down, you start with the back yoke, you knit a trapezoid shape, and then you're picking up stitches for the right side and the right shoulder, knit the panel front, left doing the same. Then you connect the stitches in the neckline, working everything down to the armholes, then connecting it to the back panel and knitting everything down in the round. After that, you're picking up stitches at the sleeve cap, knitting down the sleeves. I don't know if there are any short rows at the sleeve cap. I would love to have short rows, and if there's none, I would try to implement them myself. The short rows at the sleeve cap are responsible for lengthening the fabric here at the top of the sleeve cap, so that then you don't have the fabric pulling, because the shoulders are not, you know, straight going down. They're a little bit oval shape, and when there's no short rows, the fabric is quite pulling upwards. Anyways, as soon as I could read now on Ravelry, there is no complaints or any horrible errors in the pattern. I think it should be quite clear, and this pattern was tested, and that's why I feel quite safe to cast it on. Really beautiful design. I cannot wait to have it in my wardrobe. The next pattern was just published in the beginning of March. It is Pole Vest by Morecaknit. Morecaknit is one of my most favorite designers, even before she became quite popular. I think she's a proficient knitter that knows a lot about construction, has a very unique and elegant style. And while I find her designs quite trendy and fashionable, I don't think like she's copying the style of someone else. I think she's inventing her own according to the trends and to what people want to wear and knit. I think it's quite hard to achieve, and she's succeeding in it. So the pole vest is a third item of the pole series. She also has a sweater, a cardigan, and now she released the vest. I love sweater and cardigan, but the pole vest stole my heart. I don't know what is so special about it that grabs my attention so much, but if I imagine myself wearing this vest, and if I would wear it, I would wear it with a t-shirt like she does in the sample, either with a long sleeved, you know, cotton crisp t-shirt, or with a short sleeve t-shirt. And I'll probably wear it for work. I work online from anywhere, so I would wear it probably going to work in co-working, or when I need to do some mental work, do some planning, editing videos, a lot of different work that needs my mental strength. I see myself wearing this vest for some reason, because it can keep me warm. It's not too hot. The yarn recommended is something I wanted to try, but I haven't yet, is Filcolana Saga, held together with Filcolana Tilia. Filcolana Saga is 100% lamb's wool from New Zealand that has 300 meters per 50 grams, and Filcolana Tilia is mohair and silk combination. I think it's 70-75% mohair and 30% silk. I already went through Filcolana Saga colors, and there's so many colors that is actually a big plus for the yarn. And I think I would still choose the designer's color. So the reason why I want to go for this yarn and not substitute it with something is because I really wanted to try Filcolana Saga. I never tried 100% lamb's wool, and I never tried a New Zealand wool. So this combination makes me want to try this yarn. It is not expensive, it is super lightweight, and it's very nicely sourced. Filcolana is quite a responsible brand. So now about the construction. It is knit top down on 4mm needles with 23 stitch gauge per 10 centimeters. It is a saddle shoulder construction, so you first need two different shoulders separately, also shaped with the short rows. She is really amazing with the short rows. She's shaping everything that she can, which I quite appreciate. So when you knit two shoulders separately, you then join them together at the back. After that, you're picking up stitches along the back and knitting all the way down the vest. When you're done with the back, you're putting the stitches on hold, and you're picking up from the right front, knitting the front panel down, left front, knitting the front panel down, while increasing at the v-neck line. And after all, you're connecting everything with the back panel and knitting the vest flat down to desired length. She knitted hers really long. I think it's 54 centimeters for my size. I would knit it shorter. I think I would go for 50 centimeters overall in length, but still, since it knitted top down, you can easily adjust the length, which is amazing. So after you're finished at the bottom, you're picking up stitches at the armhole and knitting the edge in 1x1 rip long enough so that then you fold it and attach back to the armhole. Then you're picking up stitches at the neckline. You see at the back of the neck there is kind of a 2x2 ribbing. It's different from the button band. So you're picking up stitches only at the neckline and knitting them in 2x2 rib, then folding them over and again attaching, and only then you're knitting a button band in double knitting separately. I don't know if it's from the top down or bottom up. I think it should be bottom up. It's a lot of work, but look at this piece. If you go to sample photos, you can see a lot of different details, how beautiful and neat this piece is. For me, it looks completely store-bought, 100% luxurious and timeless piece in the wardrobe because it's quite minimalistic. And if you go for this yarn combination, it should last for many years. So while I have a lot of things on my needles, and to be honest, I should not be casting on anything new quite soon, I think I should go for this vest because my love towards it is endless. I really love this vest and I would love to have this in my wardrobe during spring or even beginning or end of the summer. I cannot keep moving away from the sun. It keeps, following me here because it's spring and I have to keep recording like this. So the next one is Julieta Pullover by Claudia Quintanilla. It is a woman that is originally from Salvador, but she lives in Canada, Toronto. And this pullover was released in April 2023. So when it was released, I knew I will have to cast it on the next week or something, but it requires quite expensive yarn, and back then I was not committed to spend so much on knitting because I didn't know exactly if that is my thing. And that is kind of the reason why I constantly postponed that pattern up to this year. And I'm still looking at it and I'm questioning why I did not cast it on yet. Look at this beautiful color work. It has so many different motifs and colors, but how well it is combined all together. It is quite hard to achieve a harmony when you have so many things right there at the same time. So what caught my attention the most is these beautiful, barely saturated colors that are placed together in the colorwork chart, and of course the hearts. Look at these beautiful hearts that are placed in a beautiful way together. And overall, this whole design looks like, wow, it's a lot, but it's still very gentle, feminine, and, at the right place. Like everything should be there. It is already a little bit less wearable, obviously, but still, I think it's worth the effort if you're really in love with the design like me. So now a few words about the yarn. The recommended yarn is sport weight plus lace that results in a DK weight. It is 20 stitches per 10 centimeters and it's knit on 4.5 millimeter needles. So the recommended yarn, one of the recommended yarns is Mayak Tibetan Cloud. Mayak Tibetan Fibers brand is one of my favorite brands lately. It is really expensive yarn and I consider them as luxurious yarns for me, so not for every single knit I would choose them because of the price. But I have their 100% baby yak base. They have cashmere yarns, they have yak with silk, yak with cotton. So I truly suggest you go and check their yarns out. It is not an advertisement. I buy all of their yarns with my own money. I never tried Tibetan Cloud. People say it's really, really soft towards the skin. And the description of the yarn says that it is made with Tibetan sheep fiber. I don't know any qualities of Tibetan sheep specifically, but at least for today, I know that any Tibetan fiber is extremely warm and extremely temperature regulatable. So when it's too cold, it keeps you warm, and when it's too hot, it lets your sweat go out and lets the warmth go out, because in the mountains where the ships are placed, it's really cold in the night and really hot in the daytime. So this yarn has 100 grams per skein and it has 300 meters per 100 grams. The sample that I really fell in love with, that really caught my attention, is knitted with the recommended yarn Mayak Tibetan Fibers, held together with Knitting for Olive silk mohair. For me, silk mohair from Knitting for Olive is a little bit scratchy, so I wouldn't go with that yarn, but that's not so much important because you can choose any mohair that you wish, both regarding the budget and the softness. So the construction, I could not find any description on how the sweater is knit up. I don't know, maybe on the website or somewhere else or on the Instagram. I did not go for those sources, but on Ravelry there is no word about how the sweater is knit. So I had to go through pictures of people on Ravelry and to see how they're knitting it, and I could see that it's knit bottom up. You start at the bottom, you knit to the armholes, then you do the sleeves also bottom up. You then join the sleeves with the body, and then you're decreasing at the round yoke while you're knitting towards the neck. So in the round yoke construction, you're decreasing or increasing always at certain rates across the whole body. And since we're knitting bottom up, this time we're going to decrease towards the neckline. And I checked the pictures, it has some neck depth at the back. So that means when you're reaching already up here to the neckline, you're going to do some short rows at the back of the garment to raise the back a little bit to create this beautiful rounded neckline, which I appreciate. But I still don't understand why designers don't do the description on how the sweater is knit on Ravelry, right? If we want to knit this, we want to understand what are we going to do. Regardless, that all of the reviews are really nice about this pattern. People say it's really clear, really well written, and all of the reviews are gorgeous about this design, so I feel quite safe doing it bottom up. And what I also like is first that this design is also specified for inches and centimeters, which is quite nice for a lot of people, and also that it specifies the length of every part of the sweater, so the depth of the armhole, the length of the sweater, and all other specifications that I really enjoy seeing in the pattern are there. The next pattern is from French publisher Mohair Espace Tricot, and the pattern is called Mousseux, and it is a blouse. So a blouse with a Nicord finishing. It became very popular lately to create such blouses, and I have one in my wardrobe from a different designer, and I really enjoy that. So this is the blouse with only 2 strands of mohair. The recommended yarn for this pattern is a French yarn that is already discontinued, so go with any mohair that you love with a meterage of 210 meters per 25 grams. I personally found such blouses super wearable. I live in the north of Spain that is not so cold in winter, and I could wear such garment during the entire year, but I know people who live in the northern Europe or even in the middle Europe, it is quite cold in winter, but for spring and for early autumn it's just a perfect piece because you don't sweat much in such blouse because it's breathable, it's very open gauge. You have quite a lot of positive ease and it feels super luxurious and super beautiful. It is elegant. It is a little bit see-through, so a lot of people prefer to wear a tank top underneath the blouse. The tank top could be with the color of your skin, so it's not so visible. Or I know some people prefer a contrasty color tank top, so it kind of pops up through the blouse. And I find it beautiful. I personally wear such blouses with a normal bra that is a bit closer to my skin color and that is very neutral in the design, so it almost looks like a tank top. The gauge is 19 stitches per 10 centimeters and is knit on 5mm needles. The construction is a round yoke construction that is knit top down. You start at the neck, you cast on stitches, and then I think you're doing some short rows to raise the back a little bit, but it doesn't specify in the description. I just guess it from looking at the pictures. After that, you're starting to increase for the yoke section at specific rates of the yoke, and then when you grew your yoke enough, you're going to split for sleeves, leave them on hold, and knit the whole body down to desired length. The recommended length is a little bit crop, which I love a lot. So when you're done with the bottom, you're then picking up stitches at the sleeves, knitting them down at desired length, and then doing the I-cord finishings. At the sleeves in the bottom, it is a little bit squeezed in, so they're a little bit like bell sleeves. I'm not sure if I really love that. If it's a little bit like in this design, I do love, so I think I would go for this suggestion. So then you're doing also the I-cord and the neckline and you're done. The sweater should go by really quick. It's knit on 5mm needles. For me, it's a bit weird to not seeing anyone that I know from knitting community make this pattern yet because it's quite famous. It has almost 500 ready objects on Ravelry and people really love blouses from mohair, so I wonder why I have not seen even one time someone wearing or knitting this. I would love to make this garment, and as I already said, it should go by quite quick. The next one is also a mohair blouse-like, is Willow Sweater by AtelierAjour, and for this design I was also waiting a lot for a release date, and I was also sure that it will cast on immediately when it's out, but I didn't yet, and I still question myself why not yet. It is so beautiful, feminine, and so much spring related. It is also extremely breathable because it's open gauge in a lace pattern, and it's also a v-neck, so really perfect for spring weather. No matter where you live, there's going to be a time in spring when it's going to be really appropriate to wear such piece. The gauge of this pattern is 20 stitches per 10 centimeters in lace pattern, and as I could understand, she's using hand-dyed mohair. I'm not a big fan of hand-dyed mohair at all. I find it a bit too expensive, so I would go with a commercial mohair, and I would go with Ito Sensai mohair held triple, so 3 strands throughout. I've heard that this mohair is really soft. I have not tried it myself yet, but the color selection of this brand is incredible. I think Ito is a Japanese brand. I do want to try their mohair, and since it's quite a thin thread, I think it wouldn't be enough to hold it only double for this pattern. That's why I would hold it triple, and it will result me in a very silky, beautiful drapey fabric. The whole thing is knit on 4mm needles, and it is a raglan construction that is knit top down with an I-cord finishing. So you're starting at the top and then you're knitting back and forth as you're already knitting both sleeves and the body together, shaping the v-neck. And when you're done at the v-neck, you're connecting everything in the round, knitting the body down, picking up stitches at the sleeves, finishing them straight, but then they're a little bit tapered in the end, so it's very comfortable to wear. And then you're doing the I-cords. So as the designer describes the lace pattern, she says, is graceful cascade branches of willow trees. I find it a beautiful combination of femininity and nature. I'm in love with nature. I spent most of my time in nature as well. Yeah, so many feelings towards this pattern, and I found beautiful reviews about the clarity and instructions of this pattern, so I feel quite safe to knit the whole all over lace pattern. I've never done that before, and I cannot way to have this in my wardrobe. However, I would not maybe go for a pink color because lace pattern is already a little bit intimidating to the eye, and I would probably go for something minimalistic. I have in mind a natural off-white color to then only focus on the lace pattern as you're saying it, or slightly bluish or slightly purplish color, but almost also white. So I would go for any type of unsaturated white colors. It could be super light blush pink color or light gray or just off-white or light blue, light purple, any of the colors. I just want them to be super unsaturated, almost non-existent, so the eye could completely focus on the lace pattern. The next pattern is Amoretta Blouse by Isabella Clark. I really enjoy watching her YouTube podcast. Check it out. I truly recommend. She is very unique knitter as for me. And she created this beautiful blouse. I was seeing the entire process of her developing this blouse, and I was really waiting for it to be released. I remember it was a really long time, and she mentioned that no matter how much it takes, I will make a beautiful pattern that when it's released, she's going to be satisfied. And if you watch my podcast, you know how much I appreciate when designers put tons of effort in their patterns. This design really well thought, and she made her best. You can clearly see that. The first reason is because this pattern is very customizable. She included a lot of different options for you to use. So with the structure of the blouse, you can achieve completely different looks. First, you can make this blouse buttoned. You can work it flat, and she explains how to do that, and achieve the bottom band, double knitted bottom band, to then which you attach the buttons and close it, or you can connect it in the round when you're here in the bust and get yourself a t-shirt. You can achieve a very minimalistic look by doing a C-stitch bind off. It's a very thin, beautiful, minimalistic edge, or you can do a crocheted scallop edge. And for everything, she's including video tutorials. She's including video tutorials on how to knit the shoulders, how to knit the crochet scallop edge, even if you never crocheted before. So I found it a huge work done. Thank you very much for this beautiful design. I am going to knit this for sure in the future or soon. You can also do long sleeve version with puffed sleeves. You can make short version as a t-shirt. I think if I would make it, I would actually make two samples. The first one, I would knit minimalistic one without the scallop edge and without the bottom band, you know, to wear in the house, to go for grocery shopping. So not so many complications both to the eye and to a knitting process, but just super wearable piece. And the second one, I would do the bottom band option with the scallop edgings, and that would be a more elegant, more feminine version to enjoy more when I go for a date with my husband or for a walk or any other occasions. And if I do the long sleeve version, I would not do the puff sleeves because I don't like them. So I really appreciate those designs when you can just take a piece and do whatever you want in the future and create different garments because the structure is perfect. It fits beautifully. So the gauge is 22 stitches per 10 centimeters and the needle size is 3.75 millimeter needles. The recommended yarn is Bichet Bush Le Petit Lamb's Wool. It has 248 meters per 50 grams. And as I know, I never touched this yarn on my own, but as I know, it is quite scratchy towards the skin. And of course, it depends on the breed of the sheep, but mostly lamb's wool is not so soft towards the skin. So since this blouse is designed to wear next to skin, and I don't think it would be beautiful to wear it on top of the t-shirt, I think in my sensitivity level, it should be very soft. So I cannot go with this yarn recommendation. And if I want to achieve similar matte, uneven texture that this pattern has, which I quite like, I would go for Baby Yak lace from Tibetan Fibers. I have Baby Yak medium in stash, and I already said before in my videos how much I would love to try their Baby Yak lace held double. So their lace version has 400 meters per 50 grams, and if I hold it double, I will achieve 200 meters per 50 grams, which is going to be a fingering weight yarn. And Baby Yak lace is extremely soft. I swear it is like cashmere to me. I touched this yarn in a yarn shop, and I swear I have no words. It would be so beautiful and so soft. And since the pattern is quite fitted, you won't need tons of yarn, which is important because this yarn is expensive. So the construction is quite beautiful. It is knit top down. And the specific thing that I really like is the neck depth at the back that a lot of designers don't do because it's quite complicated. It's a lot of effort, and a lot of designers want to capture very beginner knitters, and beginner knitters don't really like to work small details that are complicated, which I understand completely. But this designer included video tutorial for the shoulders on how to knit the shoulders, which is very nice even for a beginner. I think beginner could knit this blouse if you could pay attention, that would be completely possible, because I think it's really, really clear. So I really like this neck depth, and that achieved by knitting the shoulders separately flat and then connecting them together. After you connected the shoulders, I imagine you're knitting a little bit of the back panel, then you're knitting the neck, and it's not straight v-neck, it's a beautiful angled v-neck, so a little bit down straight and then the angle in the bottom. And after that you have an option either connect in the round and knit already like a t-shirt, or not connect in the round and keep on knitting flat already together with the back panel all the way down. After you're done with the body, you're doing the sleeves, picking up stitches and knitting them down to desired length, and then choosing either doing a scallop edging or any other bind off the designer is offering. So it's all up to you, and the end result could be quite unique. As the designer is saying, it is all season blouse, and that is so true. You can do summer yarn, you can do winter yarn, you can do any type of variation that you prefer, and you can wear it both in winter, in summer, in spring and in autumn. So I'm really excited for this piece in my wardrobe, and as I'm speaking about all of these patterns, I'm like, why am I not knitting it yet? But still, I really love my existing projects as well. If you really want to see what I'm knitting on right now, you can subscribe to my channel right at the bottom of this video. Press the notification button, it is this little bell, so when I release a new video about what I'm knitting or any other pattern roundup, you're going to be notified about it and watch my new videos. I'm also a big fan of Japanese and Korean knitting designers, so I created a whole entire playlist with already 4 or 5 videos that you could watch right after this one and get inspired, because as I already said, I'm a fan of floral, elegant, feminine motifs in my knitting, and a lot of patterns that I enjoy, I'm knitting and I'm getting inspired from are spring related, so you could find tons of inspiration on my channel. So enjoy watching. Thank you very much for being here, for watching and listening. I hope you got inspired, and I hope you picked some patterns into your wish list. Let me know what you picked into your list if you did. I'm really interested to see. And if you were knitting during this video, let me know what you were knitting on. I really enjoy going through such comments. Thank you very much again for watching, and I'm hoping to see you soon in my next video.